What happens when you take two unseeded underdogs from Southeast Asia, throw them into a pressure cooker doubles semifinal against European veterans, and light the fuse in front of thousands of screaming fans in Abu Dhabi? Buckle up because we're about to dive into one of the most electrifying tennis stories of 2026, and trust me, this is not your grandmother's polite country club tennis match. This is war, this is drama, and this is absolutely must-see sporting theatre. Right now, the tennis establishment is scrambling to figure out what just hit them. Something absolutely wild is happening at the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open, and it's centered around two young women who were never supposed to be here, who were never supposed to threaten the established order, and who are absolutely refusing to read the script written for them. Their names are Alexandra Illa from the Philippines and Janice Jen from Indonesia, and together they've formed a doubles partnership so explosive, so unpredictable, and so devastatingly effective that they've just done the unthinkable. They demolished the number 2 seeds in the tournament, and now they are standing on the edge of history with one match between them and a championship final. Let me set the scene because the context here is absolutely crucial. We're talking about an 8 o'clock evening showdown on Stadium Court in Abu Dhabi. The lights are blazing, the surface is immaculate, and the atmosphere is so thick with tension you could cut it with a knife. On one side of the net, you have the establishment. The number 4 seeds, Tereza Milikova from Slovakia and Olivia Nichols from Great Britain. These are professionals in every sense. They carry ranking points, experience, and the weight of European tennis tradition on their shoulders. They are supposed to win this match. The bookmakers favor them. The analysts picked them. Conventional wisdom says they advance to the final without breaking a sweat. But on the other side of the net, you have something the tennis world hasn't quite figured out how to handle yet. You have the SEAGERS, a nickname trending across social media for days. Alexandra Illa and Janice Jen. Unseeded. Unproven as a partnership. Representing the Philippines and Indonesia respectively. And absolutely, completely, utterly on fire. These two women have captured the imagination of not just tennis fans but entire nations. The Filipino diaspora in the UAE has mobilized like never before. Indonesian fans are flooding the stadium. This isn't just a tennis match anymore. This is a cultural event, a regional statement, a moment that transcends the sport itself. Professional doubles tennis is not like singles. You can't just throw two talented players together and expect magic. Partnerships take time to develop. You need to understand your part, one cohesive unit even though they've barely toured together. It's the kind of natural connection that coaches dream about but rarely witness. Let's talk about Alexandra Illa because her story within this tournament is absolutely cinematic. We've known her as a singles prodigy. She's a Rafa Nadal Academy graduate with a left-handed forehand that has gone viral multiple times on social media. She's the player who triggered chaos in Melbourne when thousands of fans overwhelmed security just to watch her play. She's the Filipino sensation who has smashed through glass ceilings and rewritten the narrative about Southeast Asian tennis. But in Abu Dhabi, we're seeing a different dimension of her game. We're seeing her doubles intelligence skyrocket in real time. But here's where the drama gets really thick. Just before this doubles semifinal run, Alexandra suffered a heartbreaking loss in the singles quarterfinals. She went toe-to-toe with Ekaterina Alexandrova, the world number 11, and came up short. That match was brutal, physical warfare, emotionally draining. For most players, that kind of devastating singles loss would absolutely sap their energy for doubles. But Alexandra Illa is not most players. Instead of folding, instead of letting disappointment crush her spirit, she did something remarkable. She channeled every ounce of frustration, every bit of competitive fire from that singles loss, and poured it directly into her doubles performance. In the quarterfinal doubles match, witnesses say she was a woman possessed. Pumping her fist after every point. Calling plays with authority. She was the emotional engine driving the team forward. That ability to compartmentalize, to lock the singles disappointment in a mental box and bring fresh intensity to the doubles court, is what separates champions from talented players who never quite reach their potential. And then we have Janice Jen, the Indonesian revelation who has been flying under the radar while Illa absorbs most of the media spotlight. If Illa is the baseline power generator, Jen is the net-rushing assassin. In the quarterfinal victory over Shuai Peng and Kristina Mladenovic, Jen's net play was nothing short of world-class. Aggressive poaching, cutting off angles before opponents could even set up, forcing hesitation in players who normally don't hesitate. In doubles tennis, making your opponents second-guess their decisions is half the battle. Janice Jen is a master of creating that disruption. Together, these two represent the perfect tactical storm. Left-handed baseline power from the Philippines perfectly complemented by right-hand net dominance from Indonesia. They are playing with what analysts call house money. They are unseeded, which means they have zero pressure to defend ranking points. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And historically, that's when athletes are at their most dangerous. But let's not underestimate their opponents. Teresa Milikova and Olivia Nichols are the number 4 seeds for very legitimate reasons. If Ila and Jen are fire and chaos, Milikova and Nichols are ice and calculated precision. Teresa Milikova comes from Slovakia with a resume of success in team environments. She understands doubles geometry at a PhD level. She knows exactly when to stay back at the baseline and when to close aggressively at net. She doesn't panic under pressure. Olivia Nichols brings classic British doubles expertise to the partnership. Great Britain has produced some of the finest doubles players in tennis history, and Nichols carries that tradition forward. She has incredibly soft hands at the net for touch volleys, a reliable serve that rarely breaks down under pressure, and tactical awareness that allows her to read developing plays before they fully unfold. These are not players who beat themselves. Their path to the semifinals wasn't easy either. They battled through a grueling match against Klepak and Kromakova that tested every aspect of their game. And that's exactly what makes them so dangerous tonight. Oh, what does this match actually look like when the first ball gets served at 8 o'clock? First, we have to talk about the serve and return dynamic. Alexandra Ila's left-handed serve is a massive tactical asset, particularly in the ad court. That serve slides away from right-hand returners and opens up enormous gaps in the middle of the court for Janice Jen to poach aggressively. If Milikova and Nichols cannot neutralize or at least contain Ila's serve, they will be under constant defensive pressure. However, Olivia Nichols is an expert returner. She's going to try to take the return extremely early, rushing Ila and taking time away from her ground strokes. This cat-and-mouse game on the serve will likely determine who controls the momentum of entire sets. Then we get to net warfare, which is where doubles matches are truly won and lost. Janice Jen has been absolutely owning the net in this tournament. But Milikova and Nichols are doubles specialists who live at the net. We're going to see rapid-fire reflex volleys from 3 feet away. We're going to see I-formation setups designed to confuse returners. The team that can consistently control the tee, that crucial center area of the court, will control the entire match. But here's the X factor that nobody can really quantify or predict. The mental game, and specifically, the crowd. The Abu Dhabi crowd has completely adopted Ila and Jen as their own. The atmosphere in that stadium is expected to be absolutely electric, possibly even raucous in favor of the Southeast Asian duo. We're talking about thousands of Filipino and Indonesian fans creating a wall of sound that will be deafening. How will Milikova and Nichols respond to that environment? Will they get frustrated when the crowd cheers their errors? Conversely, how will Ila and Jen handle the pressure of being overwhelming crowd favorites? It's one thing to be the underdog with nothing to lose in the early rounds. It's a completely different psychological challenge to be the team everyone expects to win in a semifinal with a championship opportunity on the line. We absolutely cannot ignore the massive cultural significance of what's happening here tonight. Tennis in Southeast Asia is growing rapidly, but it still fights for global recognition compared to the European and American powerhouses that dominate the sport. To have a team consisting of a Filipino player and an Indonesian player in the semifinals of a WTA 500 event is a genuinely historic statement. It speaks to the development of tennis infrastructure and coaching in the region. It inspires the next generation of kids in Manila and Jakarta who are watching this match on their phones and televisions, suddenly seeing themselves represented at the highest level. Alexandra Ila and Janice Jen aren't just playing for themselves tonight. They are playing for the credibility and validity of Southeast Asian tennis on the global stage. The SEAGERS nickname that's been trending across social media platforms isn't just a cute hashtag. It's a powerful symbol of cross-border unity in a sport that is often intensely individualistic and solitary. What we're potentially witnessing here is a changing of the guard in women's doubles tennis. Or perhaps we're about to see a reassertion of the established hierarchy as the veterans show the young upstarts that experience and tactical disciplines still matter. Either way, the quality of tennis played tonight is going to be absolutely spectacular. So here's what I need you to do right now. If this story has you as hyped as it has me, absolutely smash that like button. Drop a comment below telling me who you think takes this match. Are you Team SEAGERS, backing the Filipino Indonesian dream team to pull off another upset? Or are you riding with the European veterans to shut down the Cinderella story? And subscribe to this channel right now because we are going to be covering every single development of this tournament as it unfolds. The players are walking through the tunnel. The umpire is settling into the chair. The crowd is reaching fever pitch. The wait is finally over. Let's see if history gets made tonight in Abu Dhabi.